Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our very latest podcast with Mike and Matthew. And today we're delighted to have something different on the show today. Yeah. We've got Nick and Liz Evans from Welsh Short Mat. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, delighted to have you both on. Yeah. New experience for us because I know very little about short mat. I've had to go once.
We did get you down once.
Yeah.
I've had probably 2 times been played.
Or twice even?
Twice, yeah. Twice.
So, 2 times sounds good, doesn't it?
2 times. Very Welsh, that is.
Yeah, 2 times.
2 times. So, welcome both. Thank you for coming down to get on the podcast. Obviously, like we say to every guest, our podcast is mainly just a conversation about bowls. Obviously, you know, our main focus here will probably be the short mat side, but we will dive into obviously the other side of it. We know we kind of, obviously you, Nick, play as well, outdoors lawn bowls. But, you know, we want to kind of dive into short mat. This is about bowls in general, and it's about obviously all of them. So, so thank you for coming down for obviously representing our first short mat podcast, really.
Yeah.
So,
thank you for having us.
No worries.
That's great.
Look forward to it now.
So,
yes.
First things first, obviously, we always dive into the history of our guests' backgrounds and stuff. So the simple question, the first thing we're going to ask you is, where did it all start for both of you?
My parents played bowls. I'm not quite sure how they got into it. So they played bowls. I think I started about 9 or 10-year-old then. We used to play in a little community hall. And then from that, my brother played, and we had lots of family play. My aunties, uncle, my cousins, they play for Wales as well. So yeah, that sort of thing. And then my daughters joined as well. So it's been a bit of a family-oriented thing. I took quite a long break off, about 10 or 12 years when I had my daughter, and sort of stopped bowling. And then came back about 11 or 12 years ago now. So yes, it's good. You meet lots of people. Mm-hmm. So that's how I got into it, really.
Good.
Well, I'm originally I'm from Mid Wales, so there's not much to do up there. We've got a small village hall.
Yeah.
I started playing outdoor, then went into the village hall and had a go. Got my dad, got my mum, got my brother into it. My mum and dad don't play no more. My brother does, so he's not as good as me, but he does try. But yeah, then I moved. I played up there for 10 similar years, and then I moved down here, and then it just carried on since. Really, we play as a family, me, Liz, and Fionn. So yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. So obviously, you know, short mat is completely different to your longer version of bowls. Obviously, we have had the privilege of playing it a few times, so we kind of know a little bit about it. So why short mat?
I think for me that was what was played. So that was the first thing. I didn't really know much about sort of long mat or lawn bowls or indoor. I've had a go at the long mat. We played a season actually again because I moved to Mid Wales for a period, and like Nick said, there's nothing to do. So we played. So I played long mat for a season. Actually did quite well. Won a few competitions, but didn't really interest me. And I played a couple of bowls last year on the lawn bowls. I think short mat is a lot more technical in the sense that you were talking inches margins. The margins are very small, you know, millimeters compared to what outdoor is. I think in outdoor you can have a bowl 2 foot, 3 foot away, and that's a decent enough bowl. In short mat you were talking, it's quite precise. And obviously you've got the block in the middle as well, which makes it a little bit harder. Yeah, I don't know. I just prefer, and it's warmer. You don't get wet.
That's a bonus, isn't it? That's a bonus. I think we got that in one of the questions.
Yeah, outdoors, when I don't, you know, Nick's played outdoor in lawn bowls for years. It wasn't for me. I thought it was harder. The changing lengths in that kind of thing was quite difficult, and the weather is awful.
You like the social side of it, don't you?
I do like the social side of the outdoor bowls. So I like to sit and watch. That's quite good.
And have a glass of wine.
And have a glass of, thank you. Yeah, so...
Only the one?
Yes, only the one. People watch this that know me would be like, she's lying. It's not just the one. Yeah, so that's what it was for me. But yeah, obviously Nick played a lot. You play lawn bowls, don't you? So I don't know.
So obviously, question then for you, Nick, would be obviously, we know you play short mat, year-round thing, and then obviously you've got your outdoors as well. What's it like for you to try and combine the both?
It's just takes a long of my time up. Like, I'm a family guy. I like to spend time with Liz and Fionn, but it's like the winter is short mat, then April comes along and it's outdoor, then it's April to September. It takes a longer time up, but if you want to be committed to bowls, you've got to put the hours in. So yeah.
Yeah, and I suppose that's the same for anybody who plays lawn bowls. You know, they play outdoor season now starting, and then they go into indoor.
Yeah.
And I suppose for you, you don't play in short mat in the summer then? Or do you do both?
I haven't done for a couple of years. I can adjust. I'm probably one of the people who can adjust quite quick. But I'm going to focus on outdoor this season and go back to short mat in September and get ready for the Welsh in November. So
okay. We talked a bit on clubs. So the club that you started with your parents, where was that then?
That was Swansea, and that was called Birch Grove.
Right, okay.
And it was a community hall in Birch Grove. Yeah, played there for quite a few years, then sort of stopped. I've played in quite a few different clubs actually, because we moved and things like that. So I played for the West Glam League and Swansea League. I've also played for Montgomeryshire League as well, because we lived there. Yeah, so mine was Birch Grove.
And where did you currently play?
Kevin Hengoid.
Okay. And where did you start then, Nick?
I started in Sarn, not down Sarn in Bridgend, Sarn back in Mid Wales.
Right, okay.
So yeah, it's a small village hall, badminton court and inside, and just 3 mats went out. And yeah, it was founded by probably my parents.
You laughing at?
Was that where you were?
What?
Oh, we. I'm thinking of something else.
Bowls? No, bowls.
No, where you were. Larn.
Larn.
Yeah.
Sarn.
Sarn. Up in Mid Wales.
Larn to Carmarthen,
Sarn,
isn't
and I clicked then.
It was a vacant look on your face then. That's
like,
usually my face, that is, that you've got that vacant look.
40 minutes just past London on the way to North Wales it is. So yeah,
Okay.
it's just,
So did you do short mat first, or was it long?
outdoor first.
Outdoor first, was it?
Bowls, yeah. I when I was in school, I was playing rugby.
Mhm.
We practiced like down the rec. It was called a big field. So I went down the rec. One of the boys kicked the balls over into the rugby field, into the bowls green, sorry. And then I went to get the ball and just watched them play and just I'll have a crack at that. And
Do me a favour. Just, I want to make sure the sounds like. Just lift that mic a little bit for
There you
Nick
go.
there.
Yeah.
There we are.
There you go.
there you go.
There
Should
we
be
are.
better.
That should be a bit better there.
Still hear you anyway.
I'm always quiet.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got a little bit of background. Schedule-wise, all year round, what does that look like for you? Because I know you both play, and let's put it into context, you also both manage one of the Welsh teams, don't you?
I managed 2.
Yeah. 2? Okay.
So I managed the under-21s team with Nick, alongside Nick, and I also manage alongside another 3 ladies and select the ladies British team, or the international team. That's quite a new team, and it's only been going for 2 years. We've played twice, yeah. So we've got our 3rd season coming up, and yeah, it's a little bit different doing that. We're quite busy because it takes a lot of time, a lot of weekends, and I'm going to play short mat during the summer league as well.
Right, okay.
So Nick will go outdoor and I'll just stick with short mat.
Is that a recipe for a good marriage, that where you don't see each other?
Yes, lovely.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I found that with my wife when we worked opposite shifts. It's a good recipe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you decided to play bowls together now.
I know, yeah. That's not good, is it?
No.
No, it's
It can be sometimes you play together.
yeah.
Can be.
Yeah.
You've never, I don't think you've ever played with Mam, though.
Yeah, we have.
Not in any competitions.
Yeah, we played together in pairs.
Did you?
Yeah, down indoor.
That's
Anyway, back to Liz now.
Yeah.
so it's busy. There's lots of planning. We have lots of weekends away. I think recently we had a run of like 6 weekends that we were bowling, whether that was practicing with the under-21s or we had our league winners. We had trials, so there's been it's quite busy. Summer is more just playing, so there's less less pressure. You're not playing internationally, or you're not playing to qualify for internationals and things like that. But yeah, it's full time, but it's good. It's
So
really good.
Busy schedule for you then.
Yes.
Busy schedule. You just manage under 21s with Liz.
Yeah, we just manage under 21s at the minute.
And what's that looking like for across the board in Wales? What's the short mat looking like in regard to numbers and success? Really,
it's good, isn't it?
Yeah, the players are really good. You know, we haven't got as many players as Ireland or Scotland or England, but you know, I think we've got 2,000-3,000 players, if I vaguely. But yeah, no, the future's bright in Wales. The under 21 scene is really good. We've got a lot of potential coming through. A lot of the players now have just received an A-Series trial. So obviously you got the main first team, you got the A-Series team. So a lot of players, I think there's
7 or 8 of
the ones we brought through the scene. And then we got our daughter Fionn, who again this year won the Welsh fours with us. So she's in the first team.
She won back-to-back fours.
She's playing me in the fours.
So she carried you to a win then, was it?
Not this year. I didn't play this year. I was in Lanzarote.
The first year she did carry us. You know, she's hit her peak at the minute. She's playing really well.
Yeah.
And the future's bright for her as well as a couple of young players in the Welsh team.
Yeah, there's a few names now that are really coming through. Obviously, we're quite biased. Fion's our daughter, and she just needs to be quiet.
Well, she is a character. We did have the pleasure of meeting her down in Llansamlet when we had a little look down in Llansamlet, and she is a character, and don't change her for that, because that's what we need.
I mean, that's the thing with bowls, is you need a bit of character. Like, you have to have a bit of character in order to kind of get to that top level.
Yeah.
See a lot of it in lawn bowls, really. Obviously, taking it back from that is you quieter players, they kind of lack that little bit of confidence to get after certain shots and be the confident play shots. So characters, I always think characters great in any sport.
She's got a lot of that.
Just not too much, yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of that. However, what we notice is when she plays club level, she's trying to keep her concentrated is a nightmare. When she plays county or for Wales or anything like that, her focus does switch, and I think that's what you definitely need.
Yeah,
is that focus switch.
Yeah.
But there's a young lad from Cwmclynfell who is, I think he's got the ability to be world class. He's very good. He's coming through. He played for us in the under 21s this year. He's got
are we going to name him?
Yeah, Ewan Preston.
Ewan Preston.
Yeah, he's one of my sort of favourite ones, I think, coming through. As he's sort of back end player. I think he's really got that ability to play for the Premier team in a few years' time.
How old is Ewan? Do you know?
He's 17.
He's just started driving.
Yeah, he's just started. So 17. Okay. Yeah, good. He's very good. And then the opposite side would be like Osher Matthews. He plays lawn bowls as well, and indoor. A completely different player to Ewan.
Yeah,
he's a drawing game, but he is very good. He's got that ability to. You sort of see comparisons between like Ewan being very much like a Nick kind of bowler and Oshan being very much like Andrew Hudson, like very drawing controlled and calm quiet and collected and has that ability. So yeah, there's quite a few youngsters coming through. And
it's interesting you said that, because when we talked to Amy Williams, and we talked about Amy just before we started the podcast, we had Amy on, and she's done a bit of a team manager thing with the under 18s out indoor in Scotland, and we asked her about what makes a good bowler, international level bowler, and she really said exactly what you're saying, a bit of both mixture. Yeah. You need to have them calm, collected people who just bowl and are very accurate and like their drawing, and then you need them other players who are a little bit more wild and vocal and
well, you're gonna get ripped into the whole time.
His face when you said that was a picture. It was like, what?
Yeah.
Everyone knows anyway. So.
Yeah. No, I think you need balance. And that's what we've got in the under 21s at the minute. There's, the quieter bowlers that just get on and do their job. And
well, especially in short, Matt, obviously the twice that I've played with people and kind of just trying to understand the game. So obviously being outside, you're better off drawing if you can, and then the fire shot's kind of almost like a recovery shot. Where I think in short, Matt, it's similar but a little bit different at the same time. That heavier shot is usually it's a more go-to shot for a back end player in short, Matt. I find.
Is, yeah. Like bowls has changed. I started playing bowls when I was 15, and like it used to be like a drawing game. So obviously you draw to the jack, get touches, but now it's. Even the lead in an international level will go for the jack. and sit on top of the deck so you can win the end. So obviously that's one shot on the board. Then obviously you just draw after that.
Yeah.
We can remember we went to. It was in Prasat in 2018. A couple of years ago it was, and the Irish lead 8 out of 10 ends. She ditched a jack, and they won the game 22-0. At international level, that's quite a massive win and a good achievement to do. 8 out of 9 10s, ditch and jack, I think.
Yeah, because like you said, that obviously playing both to be a lead chasing a jack in lawn bowls is a bad thing, right? You can't you wouldn't want to do it again. You're looking to sit as close as you can, keeping the head as narrow as you can, trying to avoid that. But in short mat, and again, this is something I learned playing even the first time. You move that jack a foot back and your bowl sits on it. That's a really good first bowl in short mat because, like you said, that jack goes in the ditch is pretty much, and your bowl goes in after it. It's like, you basically can't do anything from it. Then
I was blown away by the amount of rules that you got.
There's a lot of rules
because, I think we went down to
Llansamlet.
Yeah, and I did a little video with somebody just over the basic rules, and he said, well, there's about 300 rules altogether if you go through everything, and it's like, what?
A lot of rules.
Because there is a lot of rules, isn't there?
Yeah, and they differ. So every country it has different rules. And then overarching, you have your British Isles rules. So when we play the British Isles, that's your,
kind of combination of different rules.
England play very different to us. So each end you can swap. So if you skip one end if English rules and you're having a bad game, you can swap with another player in your rink.
You can't do that in Wales then?
No,
you can't do
and
that.
they can do that every end.
Like Australian spoons, that is.
The Welsh rules are very much like the British rules, and we sort of go through that.
Which makes sense.
But I think Ireland aren't allowed to ditch the jack with
first two bowls.
In Ireland. So every country has different rules. So
and the one that blew me is if your wood, is it the wood goes over the block at the back, the fender,
three shots. Yeah.
Automatically, the other team gets 3 shots.
Yeah.
Well, he's done
that many times.
You can either take the 3 shots, or you can carry on. You can carry on with the head because if it's a last,
it's
ball,
a choice then for the team who's getting that shot.
So I'd say if I'm playing against you and I put the ball over the fender and you're holding 6, you would take the 6 or draw for the 7. You wouldn't take the 3.
Okay.
It is. It's got its pros and cons. I've done it once. Twice.
Probably avoids a little bit of injury. Obviously, with how much power you can put behind a bowl with such a short mat, just avoids chaos probably with that, does it?
It can cause more chaos, depends on who's playing weight.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing I want to talk about, obviously, with the weight shots, and it's not as easy, even though it's shorter, you think, shorter, you can just throw it straight and it's going to be fine. But obviously with that block, the technique you've got to use, and I've tried to do it, you got an extra lean. Instead of bowling it next to you where you've got all that control and you can kind of keep it on line, you got to get so far out to try and get it down the line. And obviously we played with Llansamlet as a young boy, Joe. Yeah. And Joe, whenever he plays a fire on his backhand, he will bowl it outside his leg a little bit. And I'm like,
it's called the Irish backhand.
How on earth can someone...
I don't play the Irish backhand because I got aero maxims. They're one of the biggest turning balls you can use for short mat, so I allow my ball to bend.
Yeah.
But so like this is called, like as Liz said, it's called the Irish backhand. So you put your left foot on a mat, right foot to the line, and then get your arm out as much as you can to get across the head. Some people are really good at it. Andrew Evans from Pembroke is good at it. Luke Haddon is another one who's really good at it. So there's a couple of people who nail it. It's a case of private practicing it.
Yeah.
A lot of people play the stance delivery, like you stand there and you bowl a ball. I use an outdoor delivery. I always step into mine. I've never, and that's always worked for me. So it's just what people feel.
Yeah. I obviously again playing outdoor, going into the short mat, I went straight to the static. What helped me a lot, I think, with the short mat is I'm very long. Yeah. Right. I've got very long levers. I can step quite far out. So that helped me a lot of the time when I was trying to kind of play your shots. Getting extra over, just lean, and I'm pretty much away from the block already. So obviously being a little bit bigger probably gives you a little bit of advantage at times with having a bit of lever just to get out a bit more.
A person who used to play, he was Tom Jones, quality player. He was massive. He was really tall,
Mm.
and he had a static stance, and he was like you said, halfway up the mat kind of thing. And there's a couple of people now. Dav Howell's another one, and Ken Howell's. They're quite tall, and they can go up the mat, even past the line sometimes.
Yeah.
And if it's comfortable for them, they'll always play it like. And
I got so many questions going in my head. This is going to be a really unstructured podcast because I got
That's
so
fine.
many.
When's it ever structured? But
Hundreds of questions. You talk about the firing. So, have you ever hit the block? The block obviously moves because it's not fixed, is it?
Yeah.
But the wood carries on and disrupts the head. What happens then?
So the rule with that would be, it depends who's playing weight. If he's thrown a bowl down at the speed he does, he would have dismantled the head. Nobody would have stopped it. So it's very hard to replace the bowls.
Okay.
So the rule is that replacement. So the opposing skip would come up and try and replace the bowls in where he believes that they were. If you can't agree, then, or if that's not possible, you'd replay the end.
Okay.
I think most people know now, so if certain people are playing weight, get ready just in case they hit that block.
Why have you got a grin on your face?
That's the same.
Nick's getting all the flack
You're
today.
supposed to come up here to enjoy yourself.
I'm enjoying myself. I don't hit the block. I very rarely.
He rarely does
hit the
that.
block.
Not anymore, anyway.
No,
It was just a question I had, really. I suppose,
Do you want me to blow your mind? You know, in New Zealand and Australia, there's no block in short mat at all.
They got
Isn't there?
little like bowls, little like crying green bowls. You seen crying green?
Yeah.
So they got little bowls like that, and they just go around. They bend like boomerangs. They're on YouTube there.
Yeah.
Really.
There's like there was a short mat from like a couple of years ago, the Australian Open. I was watching, it just popped up, and I was watching it. I was like, "Where's the block in the middle?" And then about 20 minutes in, they're like, "Oh, just for people who've tuned in first time, we don't use a block in the middle."
Bowl them, don't
They just bowl.
Yeah.
There's no block. It's unbelievable. But none of them barely fire at all.
No.
It's like always just like a little bit. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Like you said, the different rules in every country for short mat is ridiculous.
Most people do only play that sort of nice weight through.
Most.
Yeah. There are one or two. He's not the only one.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Pembrokeshire, they have a lovely weight when they play. Most of the Pembrokeshire County back end players play nice weight through the head, so it's very often they will ram ahead. So it's very different. If you want rules, Alan is the guy to talk to. No, Alan Slattery.
Alan Slattery, yeah.
Yeah,
Kevin
he knows
England.
every rule.
You mentioned counties there, so I suppose we better touch in because it was only a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it, that you actually played the county championships.
That was the... Oh, yeah.
The county up in Landred of Wales.
Landred of Wales, yeah.
Was in Carmarthen the other...
That was League Winners.
League Winners, was it? And you won that again?
Yeah, Kevin and Goyd won that. So obviously they play a team of 10. And then it was the captain, who was Damien Elias. He picks a team how he is best. So I played singles. Will and Steve Williams 3 pairs. Liz played the triples with Tom Harris and...
Will. No, it wasn't Will.
And Damien.
And
then
Darren.
Fionn, Alan, Mike Russell, Kevin, Shelley.
Okay,
James.
so it's a bit like our...
It's like a top club.
Top club, yeah.
Pretty similar to top club.
I actually quite like that system, I think it's a
I
little bit
enjoyed
quicker
that,
and people
yeah.
enjoy it, and certainly if you're playing your rinks over shorter ends and it all sort of finishes the same time.
Yeah.
It was a similar time, wasn't it? I played the singles, so I was finished half an hour before everyone else, and I watched other people in our team, and we supported them. And
just force you into different disciplines as well. I think a lot of people, they stuck to one discipline, and then when you get them into, because at some point in time, if you get good enough, God forbid you get picked for something like the Commonwealth Games, their disciplines aren't going to be rinks. There's only, I think, this year, or next year, sorry, I believe only 2 people go.
I don't know if it's 2 or 3. I don't know if they've decided yet.
I think, well, roughly, it's either 2 or 3 people go for pairs and singles. Pairs and singles, that's all there is in the Commonwealth for this year. Next year, sorry. So, if you're playing fours all the time and you're really good, and they're like, I want to, and you never played in a pairs before, which obviously it's very rare that someone's going to do that, but, playing these different disciplines, again, good at these different disciplines is pretty important for anyone's development, really, because it teaches you different.
It is, isn't it? So, although I skipped on for the top club, I don't normally skip. I play front end for Wales. I normally lead. If I lead a pair, I would lead a pair very different to what I'd lead a 4.
Yeah.
So that it's quite different. With a pair, you sort of try and pepper the jack a little bit more.
Yeah.
With a 4, you're through the head, at least a foot to 2 foot through, because there's so many bowls coming behind you. So you're in a good position. So I think I like the fact that we do single pair, triple fours and play different things.
Well, the other thing before, obviously, the other thing with, obviously, we talk about peppering the head and getting that jack and stuff. Obviously, the jack in short mat is much heavier, right?
Yeah.
So even if you are a couple of feet through the jack, you get onto that jack, that's stopping that bowl much quicker on short mat than it is long. So again, we go back to that kind of going for the jack and playing it a foot through or 2 foot through. It's pretty solid shot nowadays for short mat.
Yeah, long mat, it's quite light, isn't it?
Yeah,
So it
can go.
flicks.
Well, in indoor, that's why they have obviously the respots in indoors, because you can throw that ball with so much weight that jack is. Well, we had Mikey Brain, obviously you know Mikey Brain. We had our last match of the game. He hit the jack so hard it flung across 3 rinks. He hit the back and it flung back, and it was going over 3-4 rinks over. He hit it so hard. So it's like, you obviously can't play that much weight in short mat. It can but there's a chance you give away points if you do. But
some people can.
Yeah, some people can.
Thank you.
You don't want to, but
I think with short mat as well, it depends on the mat. So different mats on different surfaces. So you can have, like, if you're playing, when we play Prestatyn, was it quite suspended floor, wasn't it? So underneath the short mat, obviously playing on an indoor green, it was quite a spongy floor. So you have got more risk of I don't know whether it depends on the mat as well, doesn't it? The mat can depend if a ball will go over quite easily. So you don't need a lot of weight, a couple of foot through, and you could jump over.
Because with the mats as well, there's obviously a regulation of mat sizes at the same time, right? So the different clubs can have different size mats. I know, obviously, we spoke to Chris, obviously from Llansamlet, and they were playing a match, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago now, where they were like, the mats that they use are the minimum length possible, and it's like, because there's a tiny room, they use tiny mats, and it's like you just need to just kind of almost like roll it, and it goes. So
Skewin's mats are good home mats, really good home mats. But obviously, if you're like going from mat on mat to there, the pace, you've got to like just. I change my delivery when I'm there. Just gotta flick the ball, and it's like it's gone. Like it's quite hard to adjust, but they're good home mats for Luke Harden, and fair play to them.
So what is that length then? Obviously for our non-short man, what is that kind of that? Do you
42,
know?
Isn't it? The minimum's 42.
I'm not sure. I just play bowls. I'm not good at
that.
I'd be like that.
We were told, but I can't remember. We'll have to do some.
It is what it is, isn't it?
My brother would be the best one, because he's well, we used to call him.
No, you can't say that.
Briefcase. It was briefcase, and I swear at the end, because he's always walking around with his briefcase. He was an umpire,
rules.
It just stuck to that. He would know if I phoned him. He would know.
It's a thing from the in-betweeners, isn't it?
Well,
I got where you're going.
I know exactly. Those in-betweener watchers will know what it is.
One thing I want to touch, we obviously you're both international players, we talked about the Commonwealth Games, Is it something that gripes with you a little bit because short mat has never featured, or maybe never will ever feature in the Commonwealth Games? Is it something that you've both considered chasing at some stage?
Well, we've got the British Isles, which we got England, Ireland, Scotland, and then we've got the World Championships, which is England, Ireland, Scotland, Isle of Man. There's a lot more countries. You've got Sweden, Norway. I think that's a stepping stone to where bowls is at the minute. Because bowls isn't as big as lawn bowls or outdoor or indoor. We do need people like yourself promoting the game, and other people as well, like more social media stuff, and just getting world of short mat out.
England have set up the short mat players tour, isn't it? Craig and that.
Gone away.
And that's really cool, because you've got people coming from all over to play, and he streams that, and it is getting more people aware of the game. And I think with bowls, you say bowls, that's an old man's game. If I tell people I play bowls, it's an old man's game. I think they've got this image of what it is, and actually it's not that at all.
I think we've had more 30 and under year olds on our podcast than anyone else so far. I believe.
Thanks.
So,
but for both of you, obviously, understand that it is developing, but and I don't mean this in any derogatory, but it's not the Commonwealth Games.
No, it's not.
No.
You know, it's not that.
Although there is good news for bowls in the Commonwealth Games. They have had confirmation that I believe 8 of the hosting countries in the next 10 have all said that they want to have bowls featured.
It does.
So there could be a chance for short mat if obviously we continue to push it.
A lot quicker, isn't it? It's, short mat. The one thing I found is a lot quicker than, obviously, because it's, what's it, a third, half a distance of up and down, isn't it?
Singles can take as quick as 25, 30 minutes.
Well, like I said, I played singles last weekend, and it was 10 ends, but it can be over, like they said, 25 minutes an hour. It probably was. Yeah. I'm a quick player the best of times, but it's like you bowl your 4 bowls and have a quick look, and then you're off the mat kind of thing.
So I suppose back to, have you ever thought of, perhaps I'll play lawn bowls or indoor because I want to chase that opportunity? No, not for you.
Me.
Well, I played outdoor for Wales in the 25 level.
No, we didn't know that.
Well, that's why we've got them on the podcast, so we can find out.
Yes.
But I think I had 8 or 9 caps.
Okay.
I was quite lucky enough to play with Rosso and Jared Breen and Owen Dando, which have now gone on to play top of the level bowls. I played outdoor last year, just gone, and won all my games for the county, and they put me forward for outdoor trial, which I weren't lucky enough to get because obviously I've been back a year. But if I am lucky enough to get a trial for outdoor, I will try my best to get in the Welsh team. But yeah, that's obviously any person wants to play for Wales. It doesn't make a difference at whatever level it is.
Yeah, of course it is.
At the end of the day, it's getting a badge on your shirt. And
it is, yeah.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah, and you should be very proud of having that badge.
Yeah,
you know, for us, we've never had that.
Well, that's my goal at some
my
point.
course is playing for the Welsh Police, and in bowls, and that's.
So Welsh T-shirt winner.
It is, yeah. So that's something.
Well, you organise them now, don't you? Well, you organise South Wales bowls, South Wales Police bowls.
Do a bit. But anyway, back to yourselves. So Nick, who's the hardest player that you play against at the moment?
At the minute, you're playing.
You can keep going.
You play like the Island and Scotland. There's a couple of people in Ireland. You got John Quinn. Everyone knows him as the Mighty John Quinn.
Yeah.
You got Andrew Leckie. But when I first started playing short mat bowls, there was a really good friend of mine, Liam Farrington.
Right.
He was my bogey player. I could never beat him. But now we play international level. He leads me. The last 2 years now, he's going to lead me. So yeah, there's a couple of people you think, you put your balls on the mat, and thinking, okay, it could be a tough opponent, but you always got to believe in yourself. I've played Andrew Hudson now. I lost to him in a singles final, and I played him again in the weekend. I've lost to him both times. So I'm thinking, next time's my turn. So I always get there, but it's a bit of a
So that's your bogey player.
Yeah, a couple of them. But
what would you, Liz?
I don't think I've got a bogey player. I find it quite hard to play against Nick.
Right, okay.
Normally, because he'll up his game and then go and lose the game after. He's knocked me up with the singles a few times. So he's quite difficult to play against. And one of the ones I don't know if we've beat, or I think we beat them in the pairs, but I don't like playing Mikey John from Pems. Not that I don't like playing him. He's a really lovely guy and he's a fantastic bowler, but I do get nervous playing him, and in my trial I played with him and I got quite nervous even playing with him. So I think it's because I do rate that he's very good. He's a very good bowler. And he's definitely world class. So I think it's a bit of nerves there.
Okay. Do you know, I think it's a good time to go to some driving questions.
Ooh, driving questions. Do you want to do them or do you want me to do them?
I don't mind.
So, driving questions basically is our segment of breaking everything up, right? Obviously, it's quite just to kind of keep things flowing a bit more easily through the... It's gone again. We'll sort that out though. So, driving questions is basically our version of breaking up everything. Quick fire questions. There's 5 questions. Quick fire. First thing that comes to your head. Although I'm thinking we're going to start naming this kind of weighted draw because of how slow everyone answers these questions. So it doesn't matter. Just take a little bit of time, but obviously try not to. We had Nikki try to make a conversation out of it. We've had people break off into other things, but it's fine. But so 5 questions. We'll kind of ask you both who wants to go first in terms of answering.
Nick first on the first question, and then Liz on the second. Alternate back and forth.
Oh, that'll be too confusing.
Okay, go on then.
No, we can do that.
I'm happy either way.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah, go on.
Do you want to try it? See if it works
Yeah,
out. So we'll have Nick first on the first question, and then Liz on the next, and then we'll jump back and forth. So, you both ready for our driving questions?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go
Okay.
for it.
So our first question for our driving questions is rank in order the best players between the both of you and Fionn. 1, 2, and 3.
Best player.
Yep.
Me, Liz, and Fionn.
Okay, Liz.
Nick, me and Fionn.
Okay, that was quite easy. That one.
You wait till your Fionn uses this.
Yeah.
She's going to kill us.
Second question, Liz. You go first. Go to takeaway order.
Right, so that would normally be Chinese. We would have egg fried rice, noodles. This is for the whole family, not just me.
Okay.
We have chicken balls and curry.
And you second that, I take it.
We had crispy beef as well.
Oh, and
Crispy
crispy
beef.
beef.
Crispy beef.
Okay.
I wish I was in your family because mine has much more than
How
that.
do we do?
That tends to be the
Go to it.
the order for the whole family.
So, question 3. Nick, you're first. Best open days for short mat. What's the best kind of your favourite open day to go to?
It's got to be the short mat player stores. Like Liz said before. Yeah, you go there, you meet so many different people. I usually do well on a Saturday, and one thing to do at night is drink, and then do not very good on a Sunday. So yeah, that's the best open day kind of thing.
Liz, what
Typical
about you?
Welshman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. The short mat players tours is really developing, isn't it? And it's developing bowls, and people are bowling better from entering them. So yeah, we haven't been to one for a while, but yeah, they're good.
Right, question 4. Liz, you're going to go first. Describe your bowls for us.
She doesn't know what they are.
You said they are international, purple international bowls, Thomas Taylor. And I've had them a few years now, about 5 years.
What size are they?
3. Yeah, I did have white greens years ago. They were my mum's, so I used those, and then I used your Maxims for a spell, and got rid of those and bought these ones. Yeah, so I quite like them. They're the old internationals, so they're a little bit more bendy than the newer ones.
Yeah. Nick?
Aero Maxims. I started off with Thomas Taylor International. When I was given a set of Aero Maxims from Aero 10 years ago, and I've always stuck by them. Biggest bending bowl and short mat, apart from the lignoid. So.
Lovely. And last question, Nick, you will go first on this one. What is your biggest tournament win?
I won a World Bowls. World Force Championships 2014 in Cardiff. I skipped. Andrew Jones was third. Jack Edwards and Chris McGunney was leading.
And that was short mat?
Short mat. And we were the youngest ever 4. And I thought I won the Welsh under 25s in 2012. I lost in British House singles final. So that's quite funny.
Follow that up, Liz.
Mine is probably my Welsh titles, isn't it? I've won the 2 Welsh titles, but was 2 years ago when I won it with my husband and my daughter and a really good friend of ours, Tom. And I think that was fantastic, winning that
You just
Welsh
beat me
title.
then. I should have mentioned that to family winning.
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, that was a bad. Glad you went second. Now
Yeah.
you could look like the good one. So that's our driving questions. Then I want to kind of follow up on our last question. Obviously, as a family, obviously the 3 of you bowling together. What is that like for both of you to be able to play, obviously with your daughter, to win these titles, to do everything as a family in that short mat scene? What does that feel like for both of you?
I think it's different all the time. You've changed as a bowler. When me and Nick first met, well, actually, we played for Wales together in 2005. We went off, had our lives a little bit, and then came back together, and then met in 2017 and sort of been together since. So it's very different. And you have changed as a bowler. Nick has changed. He was quite horrible. He's not a very nice bowler to bowl against, but his emotions would get the better of him, and he could be quite nasty with that, with like picking up your bowls and throwing it behind the fences and things like that. He was very moody.
People would know if they knew you anyway. They would know we would do
it. But he's developed as a bowler, and actually I think that strengthened him as a player. So you're much better. You're quite supportive now, and I really enjoy playing as a family.
Don't you think that's a process you probably go through as a quality bowler, you
Yeah.
go through that process, don't you?
Yeah.
You're angry with yourself because you want better and you want to play
Yeah,
better
'cause
and
you
all of that. And then as you achieve that, I think you then...
Yeah, you push expectations. He's got high expectations, and actually that's done wonders for my game, and it will for my daughter. Although she is very much, she doesn't like being told what to do. She's
Like any teenager, I think.
Yeah, now, so she's got that sort of attitude. But it's great. There's also times that you think, oh my God, I can't do this. It's quite annoying. But yeah, I think you're harsher on each other because you're a family.
Yeah, totally.
But I really enjoy it, and I'm quite lucky that we have a hobby all together that we do, because, you know, we all work, we're all really busy, and this brings us back together.
What about you? What's it like for you to be bowling and winning titles as a family?
No, it was amazing. The first year, we won it last year.
No,
Yeah, year before that, it was like to win the game, Fionn put the jack in the ditch and like sat like a foot away. So obviously I'd won Welsh titles before. I ran up to her and I was crying, and she was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "You know, we just won a Welsh title." "Yeah, and it's a game of bowls." I'm like, you know, it's, and then obviously a couple of years ago before that, me, Liz, and another guy, Rob Evans, won the Welsh triples. And then Liz put the jack in the ditch in the semi-final to win it, and Rob was on her back, and I jumped to her crying. We were, you know, I was crying again. I'm quite emotional like that, but yeah, it's, you know, it's amazing. It's a really good feeling.
See, for all them people out there, there is a soft spot.
He
Yeah,
is the most
there is a
sensitive person you'd ever meet.
very nice soft spot for some people. But you know that, you know, we obviously haven't had that experience. We've never won a Welsh title as a family, but obviously the four of us play bowls now. You met Lloyd, you know, my older brother. But we started you bowled as a youngster, started back up 4 years ago. Mam joined the year after, and then me and Lloyd went down a couple of times for the social nights, you know, like you know, obviously for the outdoors, you know how good that social night outdoors is.
I like a social.
We enjoyed the company, and they were like, "Oh, give it a try." But we actually, the first place me and Lloyd ever put a bowl down was in Earlswood Indoor Bowls. Because I used to work in the pro shop at Swansea Bay, so obviously Dad and Mam, they were bowling at the time. They're like, "Oh, let's have bowls one night in the you know, in the indoor season." It was like November time one year, and they're like, "Oh, do something as a family. We haven't done it in a while." So we went and played bowls up there, and that was the first time we ever threw a bowl down. And then the year after, then is when I joined indoor. Lloyd waited to the outdoor the next season. So, you know, we're only brand new still in bowls again. You know, I think you've got to play bowls for 20, 25 years before you can consider yourself probably someone who knows bowls. You know, it's not like you can just kind of pick it up and crack on.
It takes a lot of time, obviously, like you said, the rules and get to know your bowls and get to where they stand on a mat. But like you said, people, you know, it's one of the best things to do. Just come to have a game of bowls, and the social side is amazing. Yeah. You know, come down and have a drink and.
You know, and I think that's the thing with obviously the short mat. And this is where I'd encourage people who you know, who might want to play lawn bowls but don't have the time to spend 4 hours on a green, or even, you know, walk in, because obviously you walk something like 4.5 miles when you play long mat, or something ridiculous when you're playing 21 ends and you're back and forth all the time, especially if you're playing 3, right? Because you're just up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. But you know, short mat's a great place to start learning how to play bowls, or just, you know, having something fun regarding of bowls. And you know, I obviously, like I said, we were lucky enough to try it out, and I love it. I think it's so much fun. It's different. It's quick paced. It's not boring it by any means at all, and it just kind of go. It's flat out. Whereas I think lawn bowls, you can have kind of down periods, and you know, it's a, you know, especially for your leads and seconds who are playing those rinks. Sometimes they're not as involved in the game. They just throw their woods, walk down, and they wait for the skip and the third to do their thing. I think that's changing now. I don't know, obviously, what it's like for you in the outdoors, but I know my rink outdoors, everyone talks, everyone has an input now. So I think that's changing a little bit with outdoors. So you might be more involved, but it can take forever to play a 21 end.
It depends on what level you're playing, isn't it? So when we play internationally, and a game of bowls normally takes about 2 hours in the rinks, because there is lots of talking.
Take a bit of time then to...
But I think it depends who you play with. There's certain players that, as a lead, you probably wouldn't have an input because they're more than, you know, they don't want that. And that's great, and that's fine. And then there's others that will want you to be involved as well. So I think it all depends on who you're playing with. I know if, leading for Nick, if he's got a shot in his head and he just walks away from the head,
just let him play
let him go.
Yeah.
And I, some people will try and tell. I'm like, no, just let him go. He knows what he's got, that sort of thing.
He's already decided what he's going to play,
I think that ties into kind of a good question then of, reading the head, right? We obviously talked about firing shots and drones and stuff, but in short mat, again, it's a little bit different the way you've got to read ahead than your lawn bowls or even indoors. Again, there's a big difference between indoors and outdoors. The way that the ground works is it's a lot harder outdoors to get the correct shot. So firing or heavier shots become a lot less of a percentage shot purely because of the factors of a green or whatever, whereas indoor you can be a little bit more kind of confident with it. So short mat, again, on top of that, with the way that obviously the jack's heavier and there's so little room to get around when you're playing a fours, to get around all of these bowls. I guess for you more than anything, this question is, Nick, what is the big difference you find about reading ahead short mat compared to outdoor then?
It touches what Liz said earlier. Like outdoor, you can pull a ball 2 foot away and be shot. With short mat, you've got to, you're talking at millimeters. And there was one occasion the weekend, we played a competition, and then both balls were touching, and it was like to get the shot, you got to make a shot. And it was in a trial, and Liz was leading for me, and and she was like, it's a tight end, don't play a shot, and she was like, do this, and I was like, well, okay, let me play the shot. So I played the shot, and on my next ball I made the shot. So it's this kind of thing you've got to also you've got to be a bit risky. Yeah, like if you give shot away and kind of thing.
For me, I've just watched last night. I did just some research and I went onto YouTube and looked at some of the stuff in the Welsh short mat Facebook page, and the heads are they're just so compact.
Yeah.
And having not played short mat, apart from we had one go, just played outdoor and a little bit of indoor. Them heads are so tight. I couldn't read them. I just didn't know what shot I would play. I was thinking, what shot do you play there?
It's very strategic, I think, short mat. There's a lot more strategy. Again, in terms of like outdoors, you're just drawing for shot most of the time outdoors. Indoors, you're playing, like you said, you're playing your cover balls a bit more and covering the spots. And then short mat is even more so again. Then
you're
it's
looking at what can happen 3 or 4 shots down the line as well. So if you play a bowl, you're very aware of what happens if they do this, what happens if they clear our bowl, they can pick up a 7, they can pick up an 8. So you're sort of looking, and I know you can do that on outdoor as well.
Yeah, but
it's quite strategic.
It blew my mind away last night. I was looking at him just thinking, I wouldn't know what to do.
You don't know when his bloody foot of a yard of weight.
Good enough to beat you last year, though, wasn't I?
Every time.
Come back when you're better. There's always
Still
a way to
didn't
get
win
to him,
all,
Nick.
didn't
There's always a way to get to him. He thinks it's coming up.
You have one good game when it was against me. One good game.
Anyway, we move on. It's not about me and you. Okay, so what are the plans for the future? Where do you both take your short mat bowls now? You talked a little bit about, I don't know, was it before we started for you, Nick, you're going outdoors? I think you mentioned it as well earlier on, didn't you? You're going to go outdoors this year? Yeah.
But we used to live in the Britain Ferry, so I've joined the Britain Ferry Steel. A great bunch of lads there. Social side is amazing. I went up there just for have a look and get back in the game, and they said, "Oh, come and have a go," and I did. So we've got a first game against the Combine on next Saturday, and I got my outdoor county trial on a Sunday. And then it's just a case of turning up, playing bowls with, the team is fantastic. The bunch you turn up there, the bunch of lads are really good. Fair play to them.
So the aim for that is hopefully a Welsh trial and represent Wales outdoor.
Well, that'd be the end goal. If I'm lucky enough to do it, it'll be amazing. But it's just enjoy bowls. At the minute, just go there and have fun and have a pint at the end of the game, kind of thing.
Yeah, and that's a good attitude, I suppose.
We'll be doing that tonight.
Yeah. And anything else for you then? Is there any other big aims that you've got now still that you can achieve?
Nothing short mat, because like I said, I've put my balls away.
In the future?
Long term now.
Long term. For short mat.
Oh, for short mat, yes. Well, we're going to Solihull.
And what about your singles?
Ah,
Oh, single? What
Oh,
singles are we
I'm-
talking
here
about?
we go.
Yeah.
He's
Spill
shaking
the
his head.
beans.
Hang on.
Spill the beans.
well,
So, how many titles have we
so
won?
I think I've Welsh side has got 13, 14, somewhere around that area. And I've got 6 fours, 3 triples, 3 pairs. And the one that's eluding me is the Welsh singles. That's the only one I haven't got. I've lost in the final 3 times. Lost in the final this year again. So it's the only one I need to get the full set. There's 7 or 8 people.
So he's the Rory McIlroy of short bowls.
So it's 7 or 8 people.
So you go for the red or green jacket or the red one?
I need the singles. That's the
Okay.
only one. That's obviously the singles is you're on your own and that's a pinnacle. But I just can't seem to get over the line. Kind of thing.
You know, I suppose
Thanks for that.
another thing is when you got peers who say, you know, I think it's Jack Edwards, was
Yeah.
it Jack Edwards who spoke to, who's involved with Welsh short mat
yeah,
bowls?
Yeah.
Contact me, and he said the person you want to speak to and get on the podcast is Nick Evans. He's probably one of the best Welsh bowlers out there. And for people to say that, you know, that's got to be quite humbling as well.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. I said I've played bowls since short mat since I was 15 and represented Wales since I was 15. There's so many players on the fringe of getting in a Welsh first team. There's so many quality players in a Welsh team. You can name, well, the 16 this year is on paper one of the best teams I've ever seen.
Okay.
You know, 1 new cap, which is Liz is back in the first team, first cap. But like the strength and depth is just unbelievable. Like,
Okay, so you're touching on that. The Welsh team just been announced quite recently.
yep.
And you've both been selected for that. I know I'm going to come back to you on the question I nicked in a minute, but you've both been selected now to represent Wales.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great honour, isn't it?
Yes,
You know,
it
fair
is.
play.
Yeah, we played for I played for the A Series for a few years, and the Premier team I played, but I won my way in for the twice that I played in the Championship side of that we've won. I've now been selected for the 16. So yeah, it's
And when's
new
that
for
game?
me.
Pardon?
When is that?
In November in Solihull.
November in Solihull.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. So
that's great news.
So before we do ask you the same question, Liz, Nick, any plans to play more on the short mat tour?
short mat players tour.
Yeah.
Yes. It's a thing of, you know, it's getting there. It's booking time off work. It's a whole thing of like the money side of it. You know, it's a case of going there. Like there was a competition just gone in Chelmsford. In Chelmsford. 196 places gone within half an hour.
Yeah.
So it's a massive competition. The prize money is amazing. They do, you know, fair play to them. They run a tournament really well.
It's a full weekend, though,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
So you've got on the
Yeah.
Friday, then you have to book your Monday off. You book a hotel for the funeral. It's just, like we said, with everything else, we're just quite busy.
Yeah.
With jobs and everything else, and I don't want to use all my annual leave
On bowls.
on bowls. So I'd like to go on a holiday.
Well, there's a shout out there, I suppose, to anybody who's listening who's got a business and would like to sponsor Nick and anybody else. There's opportunities there.
Definitely.
So
Be nice.
hopefully somebody might come forward and give you a shout.
It'd be good.
Right, Liz, future. What's your future looking like? What are your plans for short mat? Any plans? First off, before we do the short mat, any plans to play outdoors in the future?
Yeah, probably not.
No.
No.
That closing that door for good, or is it kind of?
I thought you were invited to join another
I
club.
was
but mine.
invited to join another club this year, and I was invited to join the ladies in Brynefrith last year for the outdoor, because I played a couple of games for the Steel when they were short. It's just too long. I've got the attention span of a gnat.
So we can say no to outdoors for good then.
No to outdoors.
So any clubs listening that looking to kind of sweep her up?
God, I was
she's
going to
done.
invite down to us
The
as well.
Bridgend Municipal. Can
I
play
have
for
been
Bridgend
invited
Municipal.
to, I think Swansea Vale as well now this year, and I just,
Nobody beats us socially.
Oh God,
Nobody
no.
beats us socially.
Anyway.
I think we'd have a crack. We'd have a good crack.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I try to. I think for this year, especially for my sort of future, would be my short mat. This is the first year I've managed to be selected for the Premier team, so I'm playing all summer league. My focus is that because I want to do well. I want to do well for the rest of the 3 that's in my rink, and they're all really wonderful guys. So yeah, that's my focus. Is just sort of continuing to keep practicing and be good, ready for the November British.
And obviously staying manager for the under-21s and the ladies. Is that something you're looking a couple of years long term, or?
Yeah, I think the youngsters we've only had for 3 years, so the under-21s, so we've started to develop them. I think it's going to be a little bit longer. The ladies is very new, and somehow I'm probably the most experienced, so I've ended up with this sort of role by default. So I'll do that for a little bit. I'm not sure how long. It's very different, because for Wales, the mixed team, I play lead. For the women's British, I skip. And so we had the runner-up in the British
Force
2 years ago, wasn't it? The British Fours sort of skipped that. So it's just very different standards.
Yeah.
England and Ireland are about 10 or 15 years ahead of us as far as women's teams, because there's a lot more bowlers.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether it's a long term, and I think I worked very hard to get into the mixed team, whether that was the A series or now the Premier team. I did feel a little bit, I think at the beginning, put out thinking, we now got a women's team that all the women are playing, and I don't want to separate that really.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to keep focusing on
the full team.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
I think we've
More
probably...
there's a few more questions we can definitely ask.
Yes. Do you want to carry on?
We will probably another 20 minutes or so. I would have thought we can get a few more out of the both of you for short man. So in terms of, obviously, again, because there's a lot we can talk about with you two in terms of the short mat side of it, and kind of, obviously we talked about it a little bit earlier, pushing short mat, right? We've had this question with a few people about the long game, and obviously we don't dive too much into it, but just kind of, I want a bit of your opinion. What can we do as obviously bowls players, and what can the short mat side, the association, the short mat do to kind of start promoting more, trying to get more people involved? And I think both of you probably agree with being under 21s managers, getting more youngsters, because that's where the future of a lot of sports sits, really, is getting all your youngsters in, pulling youngsters in. What is it you think that short mat can do to get that?
Social media probably needs to be a big angle on it. Lots of youngsters watching TikTok or Instagram and all of these things. I actually think that's the way to go, and the company I work for, that's where we're pushing stuff now is through TikToks and stuff like that. So I think a lot more advertising. Carmarthen thrive as a sort of county for clubs. They've got lots of clubs, and so I think there's lots of family and lots of people play. I think sort of more city side of things, you lose that interest a little bit. People sort of go and do other things. Promotion of it is massive, and sort of stop that opinion that it's an old man's game. I think that needs to change. It's definitely not an old person's game. So the promotion, I think, of what we do and what bowls is, and whether that's long bowls, long mat or short mat, I think it's quite important, because it is a real good social. I met my husband through it.
That was something I was actually going to ask later on, but if you two met through bowls, but obviously
we did. We met in. So he skipped for me in 2005. I played third to him for the A series.
Scotland, wasn't it? In
Scotland, but we went off and did our own sort of things, and then met back up, and I don't know, went for a drink, and it's 9 years later and he's still here.
Like a bad smell or what?
It's too much socialising. No, so I just think for the sport it needs to be, I don't know, maybe schools. My daughter used it as part of her GCSE sport. Was because she played rugby and other stuff, but she used that as part of her.
Well, lawn bowls is in the GCSE curriculum now. And we've gone to some schools.
Schools are massive. We've picked up so many from it, and I think schools again is, because what I've noticed, especially going into the schools the last 2 years, what I've noticed is you've got a lot of kids that are, again, physically gifted or sports. They enjoy sports, but they don't like the physicality of rugby and football anymore. You talk about Wales as a country over the last 20 years, rugby and football has pretty much been the only two sports any boy has wanted to play. And for women, you've got netball usually or something on those lines. For when you were in school as youngsters, there was always netball, rugby, football. That was like the kind of the big three that every sports person played. obviously over time now, you're getting more and more kids more in, tennis has become bigger, badminton's become bigger, golf's become bigger, and bowls can do that as well. But you look at a lot of those sports in the past, like every school has a rugby and football team or a netball team. Some schools now do, they offer different opportunities. A lot of schools now have golf coaches come in and do golf sessions. Some do tennis sessions now. So you're getting more and more of these sports that kids are starting to play in the school system. If bowls did that, and that's what we found 2 years ago, last year even, with taking bowls in to a school, we picked up, 8 kids from it? Six kids from it.
Yeah.
After
one of the schools we go to, we actually use a short mat. We managed to pick up two short mats, and they're down in our local school, and they store them at the school. Now, most schools have got a hall, an eating cafeteria. For short mat, there's no reason why they can't have 1 or 2 short mats in every school, or most schools across all of Wales.
Yeah, I think it's a really good idea, because you have some children as well who are a little bit quieter, or we have a lot of young people who may be autistic that play bowls now, and I think that's quite good because of maybe the sensory issues with football or rugby or that touching. So with bowls, it's very different, and
a lot of kids,
so a lot of the
contact sports.
No.
And they don't, and then there's nothing else to offer for them.
No.
Well,
and we found that be really successful with exactly what you said.
Yeah.
Youngsters with learning difficulties, who don't like that contact sports, have actually joined and, I've started joining a club, and actually we've had a youngster who didn't like any contact sports and won't mention his name in our club. Yeah. Lovely kid. Played his first game yesterday with the men.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
amazing.
amazing.
And that's brilliant.
And he's become a lot more confident as a person as well. He's very quiet when we first met him, and now he's more social. He interacts. And again, it's the same thing with making friends as well. A lot of those now in our academy that we opened up an academy at Bridgend Municipal. They all get on with each other, and they found some from different schools, as well as you all come together and have thing. But in terms of, like you said, going into schools and having this, and as well, you even have people who are very fine with physicality, just don't enjoy rugby and football. No, we've got a few
alongside anyway. My daughter played rugby, and she ran and all the other stuff that she did, the Army Cadets, but she still bowled, and I think it's good. It allows youngsters to be more social, and young people, because
and what bowls gives, I think, as a youngster as well, and again, I know I'm not that young anymore, but you see it a lot with the youngsters, is they learn to speak with different ages as well, and that's a skill I think that through life is always going to be important. Is like I said, we had the Welsh indoor finals happen last weekend up in Radnor, and they laughed a little bit. They took a picture. There was the over 60s pairs playing on the same day as the under 18s fours. And over 60 pairs, there was a man, Rhys Vaughan. He was 83 to 86. He was something like that.
Thrift, North Wales.
Yes, that's
yes,
right.
Yes. And then there was a young girl who was actually part of Bridgend Municipal who just started. Who was a substitute, and she was 7.
wow.
So you have a 7-year-old playing and an 80-plus-year-old playing on the same day.
Isn't it? So,
it was unbelievable.
That, and it's good. It builds resilience for young people.
Oh, you had all of those ages covered. You had 7-year-olds, you had 15, 16-year-olds, you had 20-odd-year-olds, you had 30-odd-year-olds.
I actually liked what you said, Liz. Let's get bowls into schools. Yeah. Now, the easiest way to get bowls into schools, if we're honest with it, is short mat.
Yeah,
it's the easiest way. Yeah. Now, whether they go on and they play short mat, or they go on and they play lawn bowls or whatever, does it really matter? No. They could go out and they could play both, couldn't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
If they go out and they play both, they represent their country, whatever, because there's a great opportunity to represent your country. But schools can do it quite easily, I think. You know, put the short mat into schools, 1 or 2 short mats, have an inter-school competition, even if you've got 2 rinks and there's 8 kids playing.
Yeah.
Schools can get funding for short mats and bowls, or even donations from clubs. I know short mats, you can I don't want to disclose too much information about how much they cost, but they cost what, couple hundred each for some old ones. The ones you got.
A good short mat. I'm sure
Yeah, brand new. You're talking a thousands, but I'm talking second hand or donated. You got how.
And there are clubs out there been going a long time who do upgrade their mats, and they say give it to a local school.
Of course,
Give it to local schools. Get the mats out there. Schools can buy, even if they bought carpet bowls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how many clubs have got old sets of woods that they just throw into the tip?
Yeah.
Give them to the schools. Let the kids play. Now, if we got 10 schools with 2 mats and there's 8 in each school, you've got 80 kids playing bowls now.
Yeah.
And it's quite nice. You're just going to just roll the mat out. You can put like a flat surface, just roll the mat out and just roll them away.
It's not going to be special.
No, nothing.
And you don't necessarily need the blocks in the middle either. You just need, obviously, you just need the
mats. It's just to get used to that and to see
exposure to a sport that hasn't got much exposure really.
I've got one question to ask, and we're probably close to finishing. We're going on for a while now.
Well, we did have some technical difficulties, so it's going to be cut short another 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes, mind.
I love the multicoloured bowls in short mat.
Oh yeah, here we go.
I like this multicoloured short mat bowls, but they're not stamped, are they? Is there a reason? Can they be stamped and used in all bowls, whether that's indoor, outdoor?
Bowls are stamped. They are stamped.
Right. Okay.
They don't worry. They don't usually check the bowls like they do outdoor or indoor.
Yeah.
But obviously, if you do, you can use them anywhere, as long as they got the bullet stamp or the oval stamp nowadays.
Oval now, I think.
You can use short mat bowls on outdoor greens.
And the ones that's made with all the multicolours mixed in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's that.
Corsair or that's that.
Concord.
Concord.
Yeah.
Concord. Yeah.
There's a couple. Obviously, there's got quite a few people in Lansam that got them. Joe Lewis has got them.
Yeah.
Lee Lewis, Paul Holland.
Was it Paul who works in the university?
Yeah.
Paul
he's
was
got
one
his colours for a reason, and it was so technical. If he says if he bowls them quick enough,
it goes white, does it? Or something? Yeah.
And they're primary colours, so they're
I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
Blue and red.
Yeah, something like that.
And if he blows them, so he told me that, and it just went over me.
Like you wouldn't be able to play with your Maxims outdoor.
No, on a quicker green outdoor, like you said, indoor, they turn too much.
Yeah.
But on a heavy green outdoor, you could use them because they won't turn as much. But I use Maxims on the short mat, and I use Aero Grooves on outdoor. So
another grooves. Lloyd, my brother uses grooves. He just bought a set of grooves.
So if you're still in touch with Aero and you're looking, size 4's nice. No grip on them at all.
No grip.
Really nice. Yeah.
No, you'll need grip.
No, I don't.
You will need grip.
No,
Half moons. Get half moon grips if they do them.
Get the scoop grip. That's nice. They're nice grip.
Scoop grip. What's that?
Your fingers go into it. It's like a zigzag.
I don't like this.
Big hands is sit nicely into a bowl.
No, I like it. I have big hands, but you only use size 4.
I use size 4.
Yeah, so.
Shovel hands, they call me.
Okay, that's all.
Any more questions? Is there anything you guys want to? Obviously, do you use this as anything you want to talk about, or is it?
No, I don't think.
I think this is the first time we were actually allowing our guests to have a free say, because obviously, first short mat, we want to get more.
Okay, I've got a question. You've played outdoor and a bit of short mat. What do you prefer? I'll take the social side out of it because you've never been on a social in short mat yet, but take that out. What do you think? What do you prefer?
Across the three?
Across the three.
I've
got a simple answer.
In terms of without the social, that is, so it's going to be hard.
Take the social out.
Yeah. Outdoor for me.
Yeah.
Outdoor for me. It's the team camaraderie bit that I really like.
Yeah.
More than indoors. Short mat, I've only played them once, and I did really enjoy it. And I am contemplating whether I actually go indoor or short mat in the winter series.
Wow.
In the
you
winter
could do both.
I don't know if I would be able to adapt that easy to. But I adapted quite well.
Yeah.
When I went down there for my first.
I think you would struggle more indoor than short mat. You'd adapt well to short mat. You'd probably struggle to adapt. But I have to say indoor.
Yeah.
I'm a golfer. Technique, very precise, that kind of stuff. I like that, and I think that at the moment I'm seeing that a lot more indoor than anything else. Although I do enjoy short mat.
Yeah.
But I think
very friendly shot, Matt. We found it was very, very friendly.
Yeah.
we were very welcomed, which was nice.
It is I think that was the open competition, wasn't
Well, I
it?
just about
So
to ask
that
a
is-
question. So
yeah, that's very friendly. I
Yeah.
think.
Well, we've obviously went down. I know there's a bit of politics and short. We won't get into it, obviously, but
oh, no, yeah.
but in terms of, we were very well. I think it's the same thing with lawn or indoor. Everyone is very welcome of more people playing. They want to keep the
Course you
sport
do,
alive.
yeah.
So anyone who shows up, they're always going to try and be as inviting as possible. But yeah, I think indoor for me is still. I just like the technicality. I'd like to have that. At the moment, it seems to suit my style of what I'd like more. I just think being able to finesse a draw into like this far is always just something feels good about it.
You like short mat then, because obviously, like you said, like that. It's more.
I do like short. I did enjoy. I've played it. Like I said, I played it twice, and I've loved both times
I
I've
think it's the
played.
level, isn't it? So when you're playing a club level, like that's what I was saying in that friendly thing that we were playing, that competition, it's very friendly.
Sometimes.
Sometimes
Sometimes.
your standards are maybe not
Yeah.
as high.
Yeah.
So I think, but when you're playing sort of higher level,
Well, that's the
roles,
thing with-
that's where that
With me,
technicality
and I've said
really-
it before. As soon as same thing happened with golf, but as soon as I started playing bowls, I thought I'm playing for Wales. Like within a week,
Yeah.
I was like, I love this. I'm gonna
Yeah.
try and get to the thing.
And I'm still competitive. I'm putting myself down for a county.
Got
Overseas
we got
trial.
county
Got a
trials.
county trial,
I got a
Yeah,
county
so-
trial this year. Yeah.
But
Second
I
year,
still,
county trial.
I
Not
still
bad.
want
Not bad, is
to
it?
achieve things. Even
Yeah.
at an age that we get.
Well, you almost won the club. So Dad beat me in the club championship last year, and I will bring it up because he did play a stormer game.